Here's my audience. There's another audience member over there. Okay. So to start off, I'm going to talk about the similarities between us and chimpanzees. Chimpanzees are like humans in many different ways. We have physical and behavioral similarities along with other smaller traits. A lot of people don't realize just how amazing these animals are. It truly blows me away to learn about these creatures because they're more than just a zoo attraction. They're kind of like distant family. So to start off, I want to tell you guys about the physical similarities that we share with them. Kate Mulcahy wrote about the similarities between our physical similarities, and we both have binocular vision, which means that we can both see in depth really well, better than other animals because they have eyes on both sides of their heads. Some chimps have whites around their irises, although most of them have a dark brown, but this is thought to help in like social situations, where that way, like if one chimpanzee is looking one way, they can tell that they're looking that certain way. And it can be used as signals for them to go wherever they want them to go. We also share a similar frame because we both walk upright, and instead of having shoulders rotated forwards like most animals that walk on all fours, they have shoulders that are rotated backwards that kind of hang at their sides. Lastly, we both have lopsided brains. Like the left side of our brain is a little bit bigger than the right side, and it means that we have a high level of cognitive and communicative functions. Dr. Mariano, from the Director of Science for the Non-Human Rights Project, says that the lopsidedness comes from the enlarged region of the brain involving language functions, which means that we're more likely to adapt to different conditions and situations and be able to communicate with others better. Now, if you study a chimp a little closer, you'll notice that they are also similar to us in behavior. Chimps, like we are very sociable. The young will often play with each other and tickle each other like toddlers will and with us. All ages will show affection to each other rather than just the older chimps messing around with the older ones and the youngers messing with the younger children. They will all kind of intermingle as far as ages go. While we strengthen our relationships with each other by talking, they groom each other, and it's thought to be really sophisticated for them to do, and it's one of the more sophisticated things that they do together. They also use tools. They'll take twigs and they'll break off the little branches that come off of them, and they will dip them in termite holes, so that way the termites will collect on them and then they'll use it as a spoon. They will also use hammers to smash food and nuts and leaves, and they'll make sponges to soak up water using the leaves. We also have a similar language. Us and chimpanzees are the only mammals or any animal to use language such as facial expressions. No other animal can use facial expressions. They will also use screams and grunts, and they'll coo to each other. Physical and behavioral characteristics aren't the only things we have in common with the chimpanzees. There are also a little other tidbits that we share with them. One of these things is diet. We're both omnivores, although chimps rely more on fruit than us, and they'll graze throughout the day rather than eating in meals like we do. They may also eat in groups, or they'll eat their food alone depending on their mood. We share a lot of DNA. There's 85 to 95% identical. We only have 2 more chromosomes than they only have 2 more chromosomes than we do.
Michael White, report to the superintendent's office.
And it's thought because we evolved from the same ancestor 6 million years ago, and they think that an X chromosome fused together along that line somewhere. As far as intelligence goes, they're one of the more intelligent mammals compared to us. They will recognize themselves in a mirror rather than most animals. Whenever they see a mirror, they will try to fight it or they'll be afraid of it, but the chimpanzee will look at it and they will realize that it's themselves, and they will move their arms back and forth and realize that they're watching themselves do it. They're really good at problem solving. They won't just make a rash decision based on fight or flight. They'll sit there and they'll think things out unless they're in danger. In a lab test, a monkey had bananas that were hanging just above it to where it couldn't reach it, and it was given 2 sticks. And with one stick or the other, the sticks couldn't reach the bananas. But they had to figure out how to interlock the sticks together, because whenever they were put together, they'd be long enough to reach the bananas. And a chimpanzee was actually able to figure out that they had to put the sticks together and knock the bananas down rather than just using one stick or the other. So as you can see, we are more like chimpanzees than most people would think. We have physical, behavioral, and many other similarities with the chimps that just can't be passed off as coincidence. I believe there's so much more to learn from these amazing creatures, and even more that we can teach them once we've learned more about them. Here's my audience again. Other audience member.